Mazel morons, welcome back to the Good Guys podcast. I'm sitting here with the new interim mayor of New York City. It's Ben Soffer.
Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started, Josh.
It started. Let's start it.
Oh my God. First and foremost, do you know what it takes to become mayor of New York City? The first step?
What? Living here. Living there.
7,500 signatures, Josh. That's it.
Are you kidding me? Claudia could be
do you know
mayor
how
in a
freaking
second.
easy it would be for me to get on the ballot? It would be so easy. I just know that they would dig and dig and dig, and then mysteriously I'd end up in the East River, and I just don't think it's for me at this time. But long term, it's certainly a goal.
Are you Soffer skeletons? Do you have any in your closet? You don't strike me as one.
I don't, but I feel like they could find something. I don't know what Adams did. I'm just saying, him with the Turkish government and whatever candy he bought, he's going to prison. I have no idea. Do you know what Adams did?
I know generally what he did. What I know is that he ran on being a vegan, and that when they looked into his apartment, they found bacon.
But that's politicians in general. I can't believe de Blasio wasn't arrested. De Blasio is a walking just contradiction. And God, I love that New York City politics are not off limits. We can go in, we can get down, we can get dirty.
It's just upsetting because I feel like you and I would be good public servants, but I can only speak for me. I have so much in my closet that it's like I have a walk-in. I mean,
and they would take your walk-in and they would make it look like a Manhattan mini storage. The whole thing. They take what is that, making a mountain out of a molehill? What is a molehill?
What is a molehill? We ask the hard questions.
That's what I'm
here.
saying. What's a molehill?
I don't know.
I'm
not into
one of these stupid expressions.
I don't know agriculture. I'm not an ag major.
I don't know.
How different do you think we'd be if we had both attended a polytechnic university and majored in ag?
I'm in. I'd love to. I saw an ad on Instagram where it's this new garbage can that is also a compost bin.
Seen it.
So you take all your food. You've seen it. You've seen this. This is the future. This is the future. Take all of my excess meats and cheeses and lettuce and cucumbers and all that crap, and I throw it in there, and it becomes a thick paste. And you can use that paste for gardening.
The problem is your entire apartment will smell like the dump.
Yeah. Yeah. And Claudia already has sensitivities to smell. If I eat wrong, she's like, ew.
My friend,
sorry, I don't brush my teeth between meals.
My friend Alex, growing up, his parents were always like, "Don't throw away the coffee grounds. Don't throw away the grounds. We compost." And I wanted to be like, you guys are on the precipice of divorce. I know you don't pay your taxes, but good on you that you're saving the coffee grounds.
Did you ever go? You might not have, because I know your childhood was robbed. But did you ever go on one of these field trips where they teach you how to compost?
I don't think so.
That's sad. Well, they'd take you. Actually, it's not sad. It was a complete waste of time. But they'd take you to I don't know, Grandma Lynn's farm, and they'd teach you how to compost, with the worms and the soil and the. I clearly didn't take too much away from it, but I remember I've learned how to compost before. I no longer know how to compost, but I think that most kids are taught how to compost in elementary school.
Growing up in New York, field trips were lit because we knew that we were going to get to eat something different than we normally would eat in the cafeteria. You know what I'm saying? You got to pack a special lunch. And as a morbidly obese tween, that's what I looked forward to.
You want to laugh? The entire time that we've been recording, my notes app has been on voice memo. So I just voice memoed the first 5 minutes of this whole podcast.
Cool.
Yeah, just in case we need it. I loved a good field trip. I loved it. Any excuse to get on that hot bus out of that cold classroom, go experience something different with my pals. I was a big thrower-upper on the bus, though. I'm assuming you were as well. If the bus gets even the slightest bit too warm, I'm puking.
Did they make you sit in the front?
I wanted to sit in the front. I needed to. I couldn't. Oh, the back of the bus. The back of the bus was for skinny kids. Fat kids couldn't be in the back. There were too many bumps. Our breakfast would come right up.
Oh, I was the back of the bus, babe, and I was making a ruckus back there.
But that's because you were trying to be cool. Yes, the back of the bus is for the cool kids. I'm just saying you were nauseous back there.
I was, and then we'd do that thing when the bus would hit the brake that we would act like it propelled us forward over the bus seats. I mean, we were crushing it.
Do you remember any specific prank that you played on the bus?
Not prank. I just remember shitty field trips, like going to the Staten Island ferry. I'm like, babe, you are reaching. I mean, what is there to be learned? I'm literally the worst ferry in the Northern Hemisphere.
I just saw an Instagram poll or study that showed that Staten Island is the most generous borough. Did you see this?
No.
Of the boroughs, Staten Island was like 3-1 in generosity. I don't know how they measured this because Staten Island's generosity was only $3.41. Perhaps it was off tips, but they were the most generous borough.
Well, why?
And all I have to say is Staten Island, I'm sorry. I'm sorry because I pinned you as a bunch of non-generous schmucks, but clearly you're more generous than us.
And who was the least generous borough and why was it the Bronx?
Let me look it up.
It's the Bronx.
Most generous borough, Staten Island. I hope this comes up. Yes.
The truth is Staten Island is a lot of firemen, a lot of police officers, and the Wu-Tang Clan. It's true, Olivia.
So Newman's Own conducted this survey. Don't ask me why.
Who did?
Newman's Own conducted a survey called Pay What You Want for a pizza truck and took it through the 5 boroughs to see what people would pay for a free slice of pizza, or free. Staten Island, $3.38. The Bronx was second, Josh. Take it back.
I take it back.
$2.09. Manhattan, $1.96. Those bastards. Brooklyn, $1.80. Oof, Queens.
Ouch.
Yikes.
It's because of its proximity to Long Island.
$1.21.
It's so close to Long Island. They just hate everyone.
Yikes. If you're from Queens, yikes.
What are your, and it won't count now because you're publicizing them, but what are the ways in which you're generous? Or as the Jews would say, what are your tikam holams?
I love that, Josh. I definitely would say that I am a very good tipper in a restaurant. I'm generous. I would say that with friends and family, I'm a very, very generous gift giver. Even though, Josh, I forgot to did I get you a birthday present this year?
Never.
I talked a big fucking game too. I even had a call with your wife. I got you nothing. Next year, it's double. It's double. It's going to be big. It's going to be the biggest fucking gift. You're going to be like, Ben, why'd you get this for me? It's too much. But that's who Ben is. Ben's a generous gift giver.
Says
even
you.
though his bestie has never received a true gift from him, which is disgusting. Disgusting. I also need you to text me your children's birthdays so I can start getting them in my gift-giving Rolodex. Okay? You know what? Send Pages too. And Ken O'Brien. Send me Ken.
What I will say, though, is, and I open this to the court, which is Olivia, being a generous tipper, good gift giver, while lovely and important and good on you, you're still receiving a service, right? Like, they're waitering on you. So I tend to think of charity as something completely selfless, where you're not getting something in return other than nonstop altruism and feeling great about you.
I think it's really hard to find those things, though. You would say a soup kitchen, objectively, is that, right? You're feeding the homeless?
Sure.
The homeless know how to feed themselves, Josh. This is for us.
God.
If we put,
That's nuts, brother.
No, it's not. If we put out a huge bowl of soup, you don't think they know how to ladle?
But, might get wild.
No, you want to feel like you're doing it. That's why they do it. They can ladle. They're smart.
Who's making the soup?
Sure, that
Who's
is totally
providing
different.
the
You're not
soup?
making the soup. You're dishing the soup. You're not in the kitchen making the stock
What
and
are they-
preparing the soup.
What is he going to be like? Hey, Spider Mike on 2nd Avenue makes a mean mushroom barley.
I win.
They're not making soup amongst themselves.
No, I'm just saying that the whole act of serving the soup, that's what we grew up, at least that's what I grew up on. Go to the soup kitchen, put on the apron, put on the hat, and give a nice slab of meatloaf. They know how to, they can take their own meatloaf. It could be a buffet.
Listen, when I come to New York, because we have it in LA and New York, you're going to come do Feed the Streets with me. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we go to Skid Row in LA. We set up tables 7 a.m. and we put donuts and coffee and waters, and it's beautiful. And like, we
Great.
need bodies to hand out the donuts and to set up the tables.
But do we need bodies to hand out the donuts?
We can
They
leave
can't come and
donuts.
pick up the
It's
donut?
nuts.
Just leave a bag of donuts there. It'll be like that cornucopia from Hunger Games at the beginning. Everybody's just running.
Yes.
Great, so we need more donuts. Now we know.
It's going to be like that Jennifer Lawrence movie.
Regardless, I'm in. I'm in for Feed America. I don't want this to turn into
We're
Ben's
not
not
Feed
charitable.
America.
I'm
That's
just
big
pushing the
corporate
button of
charities.
charity.
We're Feed the Streets. It's much cooler.
Feed the streets. Okay, we're going to feed the streets.
We have good merch too.
I'm-
Great merch.
I'm
I
in.
wear it all the time
I'm-
so people know that I'm a good person.
I'm in. Are you on the board of Feed the Streets?
Trying. I don't know.
You have
I'm
some
not,
kind
I
of
don't think I'm
financial
built for
incentive in
boards.
Feed the Streets? You getting kickbacks?
I don't think I'm built for boards.
Yeah, that's tough. A board.
Are you kidding me? I don't even text you back. What am I going to be? What am I like a board?
You don't. You don't. I literally text you a major milestone on red.
I'm very busy. You know, I'm rearing 2 children. I'm trying to guide them through life.
Yeah, I understand. You're guiding them well. Another way that both of us give, which is not at all for the, I can't think of a way that this makes us feel good. Me and you both will drive anyone anywhere.
Oh, you're giving me a present. A task is a joy for me. I am the taskmaster.
Yeah, same.
I'm a
Same.
task
Like if I can
elephant.
drive you to an airport, I'm in.
Please, I would love to drive someone to an airport. An airport, if you need a car to help you move some crap, like I always tell my mother-in-law, who's a saint, and I think it's assumed that getting in a car going somewhere is like this huge ask. So she'll be like, "Oh, we need some cilantro." Don't worry about it. I'll be like, "Stacy, you kidding me? How many bushels?" I take off because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw in a podcast. I'm going to meander. I'm going to do some browsing. And I don't have to talk to anyone. It's gorgeous. I love a task.
I think that we've both got this down, and I don't think enough people have it down. Getting a task and performing it, I am realizing is to my benefit. I get an hour of just driving around, listening to music, listening to a podcast, hopping on the phone. There's nothing quite like being on the phone in the car. Nothing better. Nothing better. It's a peaceful time. You go, and then you bring back that package that somebody asked you to pick up. Here, miss, here's your package. Thank you so much. That's the gratification. Okay, so it is selfish. It's selfish.
The only negative is that I'm happy to do the task, but the store could be around the corner and I'm back 90 minutes later. My wife's like, we cooked. It's done. I'm like, listen,
What's the minimum amount of time you're spending in a Target?
I got an iced coffee. I'm potchkeying around. I'm finding things. I'm famous. I took a few photos. What am I gonna say no to photos?
Yeah, you have like a sign that says "Ask for pictures."
Yes, it's great.
This episode of the Good Guys podcast is brought to you by eHarmony. eHarmony is the dating app to find someone you can be yourself with. Now, folks, you know me and my lovely wife, Turdy Lou Freebush, Claudia Ashray. We've been together for almost 13 years, married for 7, recently celebrated our wedding anniversary. If you didn't wish us a happy anniversary, what are you, nuts? That's not nice. We're friends. I digress. We're lucky that we found
someone at an early age that we can be ourselves with. And folks, I'm happy to tell you that that's exactly what eHarmony is about, because we know dating isn't easy. That's why we partnered with eHarmony, because dating is different on eHarmony. They want you to find someone that gets you, someone you can fully be comfortable with. Their compatibility quiz helps your personality come out in your profile, which makes all the profiles on eHarmony way more interesting and fun to read. So give eHarmony a shot. Get started with their compatibility quiz today so you can find someone to be yourself with, the way that I found somebody that I can be myself with. Folks, dating is hard. It's incredibly, incredibly difficult. It's a lot harder when you're skirting around and you're with somebody that doesn't want you to be yourself, when you're with somebody that wants to change you. Nobody should try to change you, and you shouldn't try to change anybody else. It's incredibly important that you accept the person for who they are. That's the best relationship. That's the relationship I have, and that's the relationship that you're going to find on eHarmony. So folks, get who gets you on eHarmony. Sign up today. This episode of the Good Guys podcast is brought to you by Range Rover. Folks, you know me and my beautiful wife, Turdy Lou Freebush, Claudia Ashray, we drive a Range Rover. We absolutely love it. That said, when I got a look at this new Range Rover Evoque, I said, we got to switch. We got to switch. We have a lease. The second that this lease is over, ooh, baby, the Range Rover Evoque. The Pecks, Josh and Paige, they have a Land Rover. The second they saw this Evoque, they said, we need the Evoque. We need the Evoque. And let me tell you why you need the Evoque too. Let me know if this interests you at all, okay? An elegant SUV where sophisticated design, advanced technology, and premium materials meet. A new dimension of refinement and luxury. Clean lines, sumptuous materials, and advanced technology come together in the Range Rover Evoque. Sophisticated and charismatic, the Range Rover Evoque elevates every drive. I mean, hello. Good taste is easy to spot, but hard to pin down. You know it when you see it. Yes, I do. And yes, you do. And in today's culture, there's no greater signifier of taste than the car you drive. Ain't that the truth? You want something sophisticated, but not stodgy. Daring, yet classic. Approachable, but with an air of opulence. That's where the Range Rover Evoque comes in. The Range Rover Evoque is art and craft in equal measure. The Range Rover Evoque is charisma in motion. Let's talk about a couple of features, okay? The Range Rover Evoque exterior is a quietly bold expression of Range Rover's DNA. How about a floating roof, continuous waistline, and three-dimensional grille that give the Range Rover Evoque its captivating character? Choose a modern, austere aesthetic or a warmer, authentic appearance for your interior with curated elements throughout the cabin. That can be tailored to you. So folks, what are you waiting for? Explore the Range Rover Evoque at LandRoverUSA.com and build your own. That's right, folks. Build your own Range Rover Evoque at LandRoverUSA.com.
I remember, I think we were in Utah. Me, Zach, my brother-in-laws, went to Walmart. We were in Walmart for at least 3 hours, just like hanging out, thinking of all the things we could possibly buy. Like Walmart and Target, it's an activity. It's not just going there for something. And that's why I think that, I mean, they all do this, but Target in particular was very smart putting in a Starbucks. You go in, you get a gorgeous iced coffee, and then you walk the stores, and then 20 minutes later, you take your dump, and then you come back and you peruse more around the aisles. It's a full morning activity.
Target is a vacation destination for me. It's a staycation. And I recently, when I was in the great state of Florida, went to a super Target, which, oh boy, it has so much to offer. And I mean, not only did it have a Starbucks, it had a Pizza Hut. It had it looked like a bistro. I'm going to have my anniversary dinner there.
Wow. Paige is a lucky woman.
I keep telling her. We got in a fight on the way here. I love you, babe. We have the great Olivia back from, speaking of selfless acts. Olivia, are we allowed to talk about why you were gone for a week, or should we not?
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
Olivia, this woman, this shepherd, was busy helping her mother, her beautiful mother, who was getting a hip replacement. And all I have to say is, give us the play-by-play, Olivia, because we're all with bated breath.
Oh, wow. Well, I was telling Josh this before I hopped on, but in and out 30 minutes. Can you imagine a hip replacement? And he removed pins, 2 pins in her hips, and then popped a new one in. 30 minutes. Breezy.
30
You could do
minutes.
that in and out. Might as well have been a drive-through. It was beautiful. Other eventful things included my father accidentally macing himself in the hospital room.
It's cool.
He had a thing of mace in his pocket and he was messing with it, and he just like totally sprayed it all over his pants. So that was really a pleasant way to spend part of the recovery.
That's Cincinnati for you.
Hey, there you go. Midwestern treasures. But mom's doing well. Got to spend some time with family, so she's back up and at 'em. It's beautiful. It's incredible what they do these days.
God bless her.
A 30-minute hip replacement. Who did it? Terry Dubrow? That's quick.
Dr.
What was that?
Soldier,
What was that
shout-
number that Terry does 800 surgeries a year?
I think like 700.
Oh, God. I know the surgeon had 9 the day that she was in. I feel like
9?
9 hip replacements, adjustments, like full total joint replacements. 9.
Wow.
How do you do that?
That's something. I think I need to have my hips replaced. I've needed to have my hips replaced since they were put in. They're too stiff. What do you think, Josh? Should
what do
I
you
get my
think?
hips replaced?
It's a ball and socket problem? What are we thinking? You see a little more oil in there?
I don't know. Like, they're just tight. They just
That's flexibility, babe. That's IT bands. That's your sacrum. That's just a lack of overall mobility. And I'm telling you, it's affecting your game.
way to call me out. And by the way, so do I need to have all those things replaced?
No, you need to stretch. You need to do yoga. You need to open up. I'm telling you, if you open up those hips, you'd start crying. You know how much emotion's in there?
I've tried. Remember that massage that I got where the woman was digging into my belly to unlock my hip? We've spoken about this.
We have.
I've tried.
No, you haven't. Have you been to like a proper hot yoga class?
No.
We're going.
Okay.
We're going to open those puppies up and we're going to film
right.
it.
I got the best massage of my life last week. Did we talk about this?
I don't think so.
First of all, I just want to go on record here and say, if you're a guy, and maybe you'll disagree with this, Josh, because maybe you're one of those guys. If you're a guy that walks into a massage place and demands a female therapist, you're horny, go home.
Totally.
You're horny, go home. Because
Yeah.
the best massages,
Are
I'm
for men.
sorry, are done by men.
Yeah, if your sexuality is so on the edge that a male therapist is going to push you over the edge, kiss a boy, babe.
Yeah. Go home, because she doesn't want to rub you either. But the truth is, the best massages are done by strong men, especially if you're looking to be contorted, which I was. I met this lovely fella, and I said to him, I want you to twist
His
me.
name
I
was
want you to
Dale.
bend me. I want you to stretch me, and I want you to marry me. And that's exactly what happened. It was a dream, Josh. I felt cracks in places I didn't know that you could feel cracks. He turned me into a reverse letter C. Like what I would pay for the video of this massage, I was in so much pain. It's one of those where your face is down, you're like, stop, but you can't say anything because you think that it's working. And I feel great.
And to thank him, I gave him a massage. No. Before we get canceled, I will say, obviously, there are some incredible female masseuses. We're not saying that.
I just don't know any of them.
But men's aversion to having a male therapist is ridiculous, and get over yourselves. But I agree. And let's get on you opening up those hips. I think I'm more flexible than my wife. So I'm just saying.
So you're hot yogaing.
I hot yoga. I'm a musical theater kid. I've got plenty of flexibility. I can do this with my fingers. I'm weird.
This? I can do this too.
No, I can do this.
Oh, no, I
Can
can't.
you do that? Yeah, it's weird. It's
That's
so
pretty
gross.
cool.
But
Is that why Paige married you? You could do that with your fingers.
No, it's my small fortune. It's gross. No, it's my small fortune.
Last thing on masseuses before we move on. The fatter, the better.
Okay.
Pillowy hands are key. Sorry. If you're too thin and it's bony and it's digging bone on bone, I'd rather pillow on bone.
That's fair. No, I feel that. And I too was going to, I was going to share that I have had to nurse a parent back to health who went through a joint replacement. And we're actually, as a little bit of a sneak peek, we're going to have on the Kardashians' orthopedist on in the next couple of weeks, Dr. Jason Snibby, because he's the man, and he was the one who did my mom's knee replacement. And the man is a saint. First of all, we got in early. I saw that look, Ben. We got in early before he really got. I was going to
say, how the hell did you do that?
early, when he was still taking insurance. But what I find is a lot of these guys will have these incredible physician assistants who basically they prepare the patient so that they can do like 5 or 6 in a day. They prepare the patient, they do the opening, they get everything ready, and then the orthopedist is there for an hour doing the joint replacement, and then they leave and they go to the next operating room where the next patient's been prepared, and then the physician assistant will do the closing many times. And it's a good, when they get really, really good at it and they only operate 2 days a week, trust me, if you're one of their patients, you want to be on that Tuesday or Thursday as the one of 10 getting replaced. When I got my eyes done, I was the 6th of the day.
It makes sense. Now that you're talking about it, it actually makes a lot more sense than the dumb way I was thinking about it, which is that the surgeon does it soup to nuts. But no, not at all. A surgery is just like a normal visit to the dentist. You're with the hygienist for a bit.
That's right.
They give you they do everything for you. The doctor comes in and takes credit and leaves.
It's true. And do you know these orthopedists, they have to wear spacesuits, right? Was your guy in a spacesuit, Olivia? I'm sure he was.
Yes, he was. He came out in some scrubs to talk with us, but I imagine he's fully suited up in the back there.
They wear these airtight suits because risking an infection in a joint can be so detrimental and so hard to fix that they want to make sure it's as sterile as possible. But God, I want to be a doctor, but not so I can do the surgeries, so I can come out after, whip off my cap, and talk to the family. I would have a theme song coming out of that operating room. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. We did it, guys. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, I'd be hugging mothers. It would be amazing.
I want it strictly for the MD plates. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Give me an MD license plate. That's fucking sick.
Right.
Right? You see a Mercedes with an MD plate, you're like, oh, rich.
Let him through.
Let him through.
Let him through.
Sick. It's sick.
Oh, I just want to scrub in. I haven't washed my hands that good ever. Right?
Yeah.
A nice.
Yeah.
I want to go down to the elbow with suds.
Me too. And with that good soap. We just got new good soap in the house. What is the name of this soap? I used to think that Molten Brown was the bee's knees, and it's still good soap.
Oh, my God. Very good.
This soap, Josh, that we got is on par, if not better.
Aesop?
I don't remember the name. What'd you say?
Is it the Aesop? Are you bougie like that, like Brooklyn bougie?
No. Oh, what is the name?
Is it the Santal shit?
No. Keep going. I'm going to Google really nice soap.
Joe Malone?
No, but I love Joe Malone.
Who doesn't?
I just love the name. I just love the name, Joe Malone.
I know, and I love that it's a lady.
Me too.
Should we get to stories?
Yeah, we should, but I want to find what is this really nice soap? What is it? Just give me a second.
In the interim, did you know that an 8-year-old Ohio girl drove an SUV on a solo Target run? Bedford, Ohio. Shout out Ohio. An 8-year-old girl took an SUV from her Ohio home and drove for miles to a store where she was later found unharmed. The girl, whose name was not released, drove a 2020 Nissan Rogue 9 a.m. Sunday to miss the rush. And police launched an investigation. The SUV was eventually found a short time later in the parking lot of a Target store in Bainbridge, which is 13 miles from her home.
Oh my
She
God.
did strike a mailbox while driving, but nothing else. And she probably won't be charged criminally. Thoughts?
Honestly, good for her. Like, that means she successfully drove 13 miles at 8 years old.
Right.
Parked in a Target. You know, we don't know more to this story. Maybe she needed something. Maybe her parents weren't in the house and she needed something. I don't know. She could be seen as a hero, ahead of her time.
I agree. I agree.
I have no issues.
When-
If you don't want your kid driving your car, keep the keys in your pocket. It's not that hard. How do you let your 8-year-old daughter get your keys? That's nuts.
Will you teach your 16-year-old child how to drive living in New York?
Yes. I got my license at 16 and my parents taught me, and I loved driving my junior and senior year of high school. It was that level of cool that I was missing. I wasn't able to be in the back of the bus as we spoke because I got too nauseous, but I could drive that car, Josh. I could. And driving is freedom.
Driving's awesome. And I feel like more and more kids don't drive.
Yeah, I feel like more and more kids suck too. Like, teach your kids to drive. Teach them, I don't know, send them to Boy Scout and Girl Scouts. Teach them how to make a fire. Teach them how to fish.
You tell them, boomer.
What's that expression? Teach a man to fish, he'll fish for a lifetime. Don't teach them and they won't be able to fish.
Where have you been your whole life? Someone needs to return you to the store. Ben, what is this?
Oh my.
You're like, we didn't learn that at the yeshiva. They thought that was devil speak. I mean,
Speaking of yeshiva, can we talk about the story where they now think that we're genies?
for sure.
This episode of the Good Guys podcast is brought to you by Philadelphia Cream Cheese. If there's anyone that knows creamy, it's Philadelphia Cream Cheese. It's extremely versatile and can be used to enhance any meal, snack, or anything in between. Philadelphia makes everything creamier. Now, folks, you're stuck in thinking about bagel lox and cream cheese, maybe a little bit of bagel, cream cheese, and egg. Maybe just plain bagel with cream cheese. Wake up, folks. There's a cream cheese revolution. Am I here to tell you that the bagel with cream cheese isn't the greatest thing since sliced bread? No, it's fantastic. But if that's the only way that you are thinking about Philadelphia, you are absolutely missing out. How about creating a nice dip? Maybe a buffalo chicken dip? How about using cream cheese to make your fettuccine alfredo just a little bit creamier? Have you tried using it in your macaroni and cheese? Have you tried making a dessert with cream cheese? How about a cream cheese cheesecake? Do you understand what you're missing out on by only thinking of Philadelphia cream cheese as something that goes on a bagel? Well, your brain, expand your mind. Think about Philadelphia in more than just bagels and cream cheese because it's so much more. And folks, you can go to creamcheese.com. That's right, they have that URL. And you can see all these beautiful recipes. It's fantastic. Philadelphia makes everything creamier. Visit creamcheese.com for recipe inspiration. And so you can start adding Philadelphia to your recipes at home. Visit creamcheese.com. Tons of inspo. You're welcome.
An Iranian cleric recently said that Jews, this one's going to be fun, have had access to genies since Davidic times. The cleric claims in a televised interview that Israel was able to recently eliminate Hassan Nasrallah by employing the aid of supernatural creatures and advanced technologies the Jews have supposedly had for 3,000 years. And all I have to say to that is I see a new franchise for Disney. I see rides. This is a flywheel, babe. Movie, toys, rides, repeat.
I think it's such an honor. Yeah, we have mystical powers, yet we're here podcasting for you. What are you, nuts?
I'll tell you the kind of genie I want, one that makes my indigestion go away. I love that. We're genies, but we also have allergies.
We're genies, but we have literally like generational health problems. We don't solve our health
bad
first.
eyes. You don't see a genie at Warby Parker.
We're genies and we're overwhelmingly less attractive than everyone else.
We're genies, but our metabolism is at a resting slow.
Yeah, I think that's good. We're genies, but we have horns.
It's just not tracking, babe.
It's not tracking. And I don't know. When I read that article, I was like, this is hilarious. And all I thought of was Robin Williams. Rest in peace. The OG genie.
I mean, I would just love to see that even if we were genies, how like the gossip amongst Jewish people would be like, did you hear about David the genie? He's 40 and unmarried. It's a shame. He spends all his time in his little canister. Well, a young golden eagle attacked a toddler in Norway, and it's the fourth such assault on humans. Copenhagen. At first, Francis Ari Stor thought a human was trying to shove him down the steep Norwegian mountainside. Then he saw the golden eagle land. We were staring at each other for maybe a whole minute. I was trying to think what was in his mind. The bird then attacked Stor 5 more times, scratching and clawing the 31-year-old bicycle courier's face and arms for over 10 to 15 minutes as he sprinted down the mountain. Crazy.
Everyone thinks I'm dramatic when, like, we're in Florida or we're in the Hamptons or we're somewhere and we have these little dogs just running in the backyard, and above I see a hawk. If I see a fucking hawk, I'm picking up Romeo and I'm sprinting inside. Big birds are not our friends, Josh. Big birds are not our friends.
Well,
They
Big Bird
see us
is our
as
friend.
enemies. Yes, except for the Big Bird.
Yeah, the only Big Bird.
Yeah, that one's a legend. Do you think he'd come on the podcast? Can we get a Sesame Street character?
You have one right here.
Yes, you do. Oh no. Oh no. Don't get me into doing voices again.
I do. I have a book, a Sesame Street book for my son, and I do all the voices of all the characters. And I can tell for some of them, he's like, great job, Dad. And for some of them, he's like, this is why you haven't booked an audition in 6 months.
Yeah, we're going to need to do that now. Let's start with Elmo.
Oh, okay. La la la. Wait. Elmo is kind of like, I'm Elmo. I'm Elmo. La 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 la. Elmo song. I'm with you, Mr. Ben.
It's pretty good.
Thanks.
I'll give it a hard 8.5. What about who else talks? I don't know what anybody else sounds like except for the Count.
Ha ha ha. 1, a 2. No, wait, that's the Tootsie Roll owl.
Okay.
The Tootsie Bob owl.
Tootsie Roll owl.
Speaking of Norway, I pulled up some facts about Norway, and I think it's important. Some parents are forced to return to work shortly after their child is born for financial reasons. However, in Norway, mothers have the choice of either taking 35 weeks of maternity leave at full pay or 45 weeks with 80% pay. Fathers also have the choice to take up to 10 weeks of paternity leave. Not bad.
Wait, hang on. Women have the opportunity to take 45 weeks.
You heard it right, babe.
You know,
A full year.
The way it fucking should be.
That's right.
That's an unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you weren't expecting that from me, were you, listeners? You were going to say 45 weeks, too long. No, you have the wrong impression of me.
Get back in the mines, Claudia.
45 weeks is glorious.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
what do we get? 10?
I don't know. What do they offer
Is that
here
what
at
it
Dear
said?
Media, Olivia?
Let me check the employee handbook.
Whatever it is, we're not getting enough. I'm sorry. The more weeks we get, the more helpful we can be. Give us more weeks.
Did you know that the cost of living in Norway tends to be high, but it's often balanced out by the average annual income of Norwegians? In 2018, the gross national income was $68,000, with a normal job paying over $21 per hour.
Pretty good.
Not bad. And the main reason for the high taxation on items in Norway is to fund the universal and single-payer healthcare system. Yeah,
I love a good system.
but they have the highest gas prices in the world. So what can you do?
What is it?
Can't be
Does
good.
it say?
It's by liters, so that's already terrible. But you know, there's like in Norwegian, Scandinavian countries, there's a thing where people will go into restaurants and let their babies sleep outside. You've heard of this?
No. What are you, nuts?
It's safe. It's safe. And the whole idea is like, if it's not too cold, obviously the babies are super bundled up. And these are like proper babies. So they're like sleeping 20 hours a day. But they're properly bundled up in parkas and blankets and the whole thing. And they actually think it helps their immune system by just sleeping for 45 minutes or an hour out in the cold while you're eating some delicious charcuterie plate.
I'm out. I'm sorry. I'm sure it helps, so stand with them. Why can't you also be out in the cold?
You can see
or
them.
alternatively, why don't you eat outside?
They have windows.
I don't like it.
Well, it's cold for us.
I don't like it. I'm out.
Take it up with Norway, babe. Take it
I'm
up
not
with
going to lie.
Norway.
Norway was so high. Josh Peck single-handedly brought him down.
Should we
Well done, Josh. Well done.
Should we get to a speak pipe?
Yes. Please.
If you want to ask us a question, if you want some advice from us, and that's it. We don't want to hear your little fun little facts. Any other idea you have, keep it to yourself. But if you want to, go to speakpipe.com/goodguys. Keep it brief. Brevity is key. Let's hear from Elise.
Hey, Josh and Ben, would love both of your opinions on this topic. So I don't have kids, and I don't plan to have kids. I also don't really like kids, which is, I guess, an unpopular opinion maybe. But I know that with friends and family, I have somewhat of an obligation to kind of pretend to like kids and pretend to enjoy being around their children. Now, when it comes to strangers in public, is there a different social protocol? Like, for example, when I'm at a restaurant or on an airplane and some stranger's kid is like in my face, touching my hair, kicking my seat, whatever it may be, do I just kind of have to brush it off and be like, oh, kids will be kids? Or can I just like actually express my frustration with somebody's kid in my face, disrupting my peace and my personal space? I'm not trying to play nice with a stranger, but like, it is a kid. So what do you think?
There's a lot to unpack, Josh. There's a lot to unpack here. First of all, dare I say, I think that even if you don't like kids, you'd probably love your kid. I'm not saying you should have kids. That's up to you. But I think that you would love your child much more than you'd love your cousins or the random kid on the airplane. That's first. Second, I definitely think that it is a nice social protocol for you to be nice to children in your family. You witch. That is a nice thing to do. Especially because like they're kids and like they didn't do anything wrong, and like you could find it like nice, fun, and endearing if you like have a conversation with them as if they're adults, or maybe read them a book or play a game with them and not like treat them like a random snot-nosed kid. Third, on an airplane, it is absolutely appropriate to look at the parents and ask them, hi, do you have some way of stopping your child from continuously kicking the back of my seat? Like, that is a totally appropriate thing. Your question on, should I like get in a fist fight with the kid? No. I don't think that I would turn around and like tell the kid, like, stop kicking my fucking seat, you little fucking freak. But like, I would turn to the parents and say, hi, I don't know if you've noticed, but like for the last 2 hours, your bundle of joy has been kicking my seat. Do you mind switching seats? Do you mind holding them? Do you mind trying to do something so I can potentially get some sleep on this long flight? Josh?
I agree with you. I think the plane thing is a good example. If a parent is doing everything in their power to try to control their kid, and unfortunately the realities of children are overlapping that. For instance, you're on a late flight, that baby, their ears hurt because of the pressure on the plane, and that baby's wailing, and that parent's done. They've brought formula, they've brought snacks, they brought an iPad, they tried, and that baby just does not feel good. You need to have a little grace and feel for that parent. Recently, I was on a JetBlue flight back from Florida. Mint. We're doing well.
Rich.
Just saying. It's fine. I had miles. And and there was a woman with her baby behind me, and I just looked behind like 10 minutes into the flight because the baby was a little cranky, and I said, listen, if I can help in any way, like I sort of was like, I am the perfect person to be sitting in front of you with a noisy baby. I don't care. I would want the same grace given to me as a parent. I get it. Let me know if you need me to grab anything from the overhead for you. But if a parent sucks and they're not keeping track of their kids and they're not being responsible and they're just blasé about it, totally say something. Are you kidding me? 100, not to the child. Don't like knock Spider-Man out of their hands and be like, get it together, Billy. But you could say to that parent, come on.
And to take it one step further, do not talk ever to other people's kids.
Ever.
Don't do that. Don't talk to a stranger's kids. That's like not a normal thing at all. It's not cool. It's not, you absolutely never know what a situation is. Do not talk to other people's kids.
And especially don't do it like this. Hey, buddy. What? Hey, buddy. Hey, no thanks, buddy. No. Don't buddy my boy. You don't buddy my
me.
little one.
Don't buddy me.
Parents do that to other kids with like that voice as though it's like acceptable. I'm like, Look, if my kid has his hands on your kid, yeah, get in between it. But like other than that, don't parent him.
I think it's been at least a year since we've spoken about the word buddy. And I'm going to bring it back up again because it needs to be said. The word buddy needs to be removed from the dictionary.
Yeah.
Do not call me buddy. Do not call Max buddy. Do not call Josh buddy. Do not call anybody I know buddy. Because when you say buddy, you are automatically talking down to me. And if you don't think you are, then you especially need to remove it from your vocabulary because you have no idea how you're being perceived.
Don't buddy me, don't boss me, don't chief me.
Depends on who's bossing. Like, what if it's like a real Italian and he like comes up to you, he's like, hey, boss.
If your name ends in a vowel, you can boss me.
Yeah, that's nice. Also, like, I don't know, like an Uber driver. What's up, boss? Love it.
All right. If you have a thick New England accent or a New York accent, fine, you can boss me.
Chief, I'm trying to think.
Chief, that's already appropriation. I'm not cool with that at all. All right, let's listen to the next one.
Hey, Josh and Ben, it's a moron here. I am going to try to keep it brief. So I have a question and I need a man's advice. So
I guess we'll do
this year, and we get married next year. We're getting married in Italy, and I have a random question, but is it a man's job to buy a woman lingerie or a woman's job to buy a man lingerie? Because I've been blessed in that my fiance now has always gifted me or gone with me to go buy lingerie. But is it my job to gift him my lingerie for the honeymoon?
Whoa. I'm uncomfortable.
I'm bereft. Like, what? Like, also, like, what kind of rom-com are you living in where you guys go shopping for lingerie together?
Yeah.
Like, that's not real. Is that real?
I think some couples do it.
That's insane. Is it your responsibility to buy your own lingerie and give it to him so he can give it back to you? No.
No, I think she's just kind of like, should she pick out the outfit for their, for their honeymoon night? Kind of like something to turn him on is the gift.
I think
Ben's never been speechless.
I'm speechless. Like, no, like, I guess
Ben's turn on
if
his
thing
turn
going
off
where
the
like
lights,
you guys,
honey.
if you guys have a thing going where you go to like the nudie section of Bloomingdale's and like you're like holding things up and he gets rock hard and that's how you pick it, like I'd stick with that.
I mean, is Claudia gonna get mad at us if I ask you if I'll be honest, Paige and I, we don't do that. Like, we're not a lingerie family.
I don't know if she's gonna. I don't think that she would get mad. She'd probably get mad if we spoke about the topic, but no, we're not lingerie people. I think it's pretty clear that we're not lingerie people. And at first, I thought this woman was asking if she should buy her husband lingerie. And I'm like, they make lingerie for men?
Yeah, can you imagine us coming out in like a mesh boxer brief?
just like a cheetah cup.
Yeah. Just your twig and berries and meshed. It looks like you're on a fishing boat.
No, yeah, we're not lingerie people. Maybe that's why lingerie is such like a foreign concept to me, but that's not us.
But I can see it in movies or, and be like, wow, like that person looks incredible. But in practice, I think it's really hard to feel. I've been in a situation once with someone who was wearing it and he was gentle. No, and and I remember even the girl, this was like I was really, I was like in my early 20s, she felt like silly about it. Like it sounded good in theory and then in practice she was like, "Oh God, can this just be done?" And I was like, it was your idea.
There's nothing quite like us discussing lingerie while you're wearing a chess club t-shirt. We don't know anything about lingerie. What are you, nuts?
Checkmate. I remember Paige, when we got married, she had her bridal shower. And was it a bridal shower or like maybe her bachelorette? And one of her friends gave her like a piece of lingerie, like in, I don't know, a jokey way, maybe not. And I was like, "Hey, you want to throw that on?" She's like, "No." She's like, "I won't ever be wearing that." And I was like, cool. I mean, it's wasteful, but cool. Well, I think before we get to What Are You Nuts, this is going to air on the wonderful Jewish New Year of Rosh Hashanah. So what are your plans for Rosh Hashanah?
I am making a feast, Josh. But actually, I would love your input in the spread. Okay? Full family. Claude's family, my family, coming to our house.
Beautiful.
And I'm cooking. I have not decided on the soup yet. Should I 100% make chicken soup, or do you think I just made a delicious butternut squash? Do you think I could get away with a fall favorite?
Do butternut squash.
Butternut squash. From there, we're going to move into some mashed potatoes. I'm thinking of a truffle mashed potato. We're going to go into some garlic string beans. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a brisket. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to make a fish because, as you know, my dad is a pescatarian. So I'm trying to think about what type of fish I could make that isn't so incredibly losery, because like who makes fish on Rosh Hashanah? But he's chosen his path, and I have to honor that. So I'm thinking maybe like a honey garlic, something in the theme of honey. Or like a honey lemon or lemon garlic, something citrusy, something honey, and then a babka.
A homemade babka?
Probably not.
From
Probably
Zabar's?
That would be my guess. And then the table, of course, will have apples and honey, to celebrate the sweet new year. I'm going to get a fish head because it's good luck to eat the fish eye. I wonder why people think we're weird. And I'll probably get a new fruit. That's a custom that I like. You try to introduce a fruit that nobody's ever heard of for a curious new year. But for those that don't know, Rosh Hashanah is the Jewish New Year. And I love a new year. Any excuse to have a new year, it's great. The old year, gone. New year is here. What are you doing, Josh?
Love it, love it, love it. I don't know. Probably nothing, although my kids have off from school, so I will I'll hang out with them. And I'm conflicted because there is a children's service at the Chabad near our house for Rosh Hashanah. And my wife and I were talking about it, and I think we have a perfect relationship because we're totally open and free with both of our religious backgrounds. But we don't proselytize in any way. So as much as they'll do an Easter egg hunt or love a Christmas morning, they'll also do a Shabbat or a Hanukkah night. But we don't really bring them to religious services. That's kind of like that's sort of the leap we haven't made yet. Because again, then is it a tit for tat thing? So I'm unsure of that part of it, but I think Friday night we'll do a hybrid Shabbat Rosh Hashanah dinner, which means I'll be making Snake River steaks. Shout out Snake River. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I'll grill those up. We'll do a beautiful side and some salad, and we'll invite my wife's beautiful family over and the kids, and we'll eat a little apples and honey and do it up.
Beautiful. One thing that I'll say about the synagogue shul piece, Chabad piece. One, the next time you are here, we're going together. The second is, in my experience with children's services, it's really just songs. Like, they're just singing, probably mostly in Hebrew, but I think that it's, and I would say the same thing about like a kid's church night. I would assume it's just songs.
Yeah.
Like you're just like singing and having a good time. And it's like actually like really cute when I see like my nieces and nephews like singing a Hebrew song. I'm like, you don't even know English, but you're singing a Hebrew song. And so it's like cute and nice. I would assume that that's what it is.
No, I think so. And we've been to I think before we had kids, but we've been to like a little midnight mass on Christmas and whatnot, and I love it all, babe. I love it all.
If somebody's singing well, I'm there. If somebody's singing bad, let me swap in.
Yes. Do you have your what are you nuts?
I do. I'm gonna save the better one for our next episode. You go first.
My what are you nuts is hydration. I was sorry. My what are you nuts is hydration. I was recently listening to the great podcast. My buddy Jordan has a podcast. So I want to get the exact name of it right, but I think it's just his name. But because I want to give the proper shout out here, the Jordan Harbinger Show, and he does these things where he'll debunk kind of whatever's popular in today's. So like he did one about like generic drugs and expiration dates and kind of like the whole thing behind generic drugs and why they're just as good as the name brand stuff and blah, blah, blah. So he did one about hydration. Do you know the people that have been pushing this idea of 8 glasses of water a day? Do you know where that came from?
No, tell me.
The beverage industry. That's it.
The what industry?
The beverage industry.
Oh, of course. Bastards.
What are you, nuts? We're all overly hydrating. You know who's pushing this narrative? Stanley. Okay? You're walking around with your gallon jug thing. Everyone's sipping. We're like the little hamsters in the Enough already. You know how you know if you're hydrated? You thirsty? No? You're good. Probably. Yes, obviously, all you naysayers, all you contrarians in the comments, it's good to drink water. You could probably be drinking a little bit more if you're not like constantly hydrating, but it's enough. You're getting enough hydration. What are you, nuts?
I'm constantly hydrating. I actually just saw an Instagram graphic which said, did you know that if your pee is clear, you're overhydrated? I always thought that was the gold standard. I thought the goal was to get to clear pee.
That's probably another thing by Pepsi.
Yeah, totally.
And
what are they pushing?
And by the way, coffee doesn't dehydrate you, which is another myth. Coffee, tea, even sodas, there's water in there. You're getting it from that. You're getting water from your food. You are getting water. My sister-in-law, Taylor, I don't think has drank water since 8th grade. She's flourishing.
Well, or no. I know a lot of people, actually, that don't drink water. Claudia doesn't drink water. She now drinks water. It's this water called Splash that she loves because it's like Propel, right? Like she finally found water that like tastes nothing like water, but she's not a straight water drinker. My mom also doesn't drink water. I, on the other hand, I love water. I could drink water. I could drink 15 bottles a day, no problem. I love it.
Good for you.
Just saying. My what are you nuts is, we've spoken about it a lot, Josh. My what are you nuts is testosterone injections.
Wow.
Let me explain. Nothing is a one-size-fits-all solution, Josh. And I've been thinking a lot about it, you know? How do I get mean and green? How do I get tough? And the answer across the board seems to be testosterone injections. I was talking about it with my dad recently because I thought, you know, Bruce could use a little mean and green. He's a man in his mid-60s.
For sure.
Why not take a little T, right? That's a perfectly normal thing for
lowercase t.
A man in their 60s. Take a little T, right?
Yeah,
Thank God my uncle is a doctor, because my dad calls my uncle and says, hey, I was just at the doctor. They said I should take a little bit of tea. He said, don't forget, our father, his grandfather, died of prostate cancer. Prostate cancer apparently runs in the family. And testosterone, one of the side effects of having too much testosterone in your system is that if you're predisposed to prostate cancer, that it makes it significantly more likely that you will get prostate cancer. So all I have to say is, what are you, nuts? With all of the sort of false claims where it's like, Diet Coke, don't drink too much, you'll get cancer, but you need to have like 3,000 of them. Why, on the other side, aren't we talking about the potential negative effects of these things that we're putting into our bodies? Like, I would like to know. I easily could have started taking testosterone, no question. But now I won't, because if it's something that might not be right for me, it's not a one-size-fits-all, Josh. It's just not. I'm not saying it's not right for you. I'm not saying that it wasn't right for me before I got this knowledge, and I'm not saying that it won't be right for me tomorrow when somebody debunks what I said on this podcast. All I'm saying is that we should be getting more information.
But what if you, God forbid, had a proclivity for thyroid cancer? You could not take your beloved Ozempic. So you're right. It just depends what your underlying preceding conditions are. But for the majority, it works.
But it's nice to know. See, Josh, this is, you hit the nail on the head. It's important to know what we're predisposed to, because we're all predisposed to different things. And that's why our bodies react differently to different things. And this has been our PBS documentary on different things for different people.
End the podcast immediately.
Well, folks, this episode was literally a 7 out of 10, but I brought it back down to a 5. It's still a 5. 5 stars. Rate, review, and subscribe. Otherwise, what are you, nuts? Listen to us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Watch us on YouTube. Share our clips, TikTok and Instagram. Our TikTok is blowing up. Our TikTok is huge. Go follow it. Share our clips. Mondays and Thursdays, folks. We will see you next time.
Bye.